Good evening. We're going to call tonight's Zoning Board of Appeals meeting to order. I'm gavel-less, so I don't have anything to knock here. We have a revised agenda that got published just a couple days ago due to our first scheduled item being pulled. So still some questions as to exactly the impact of that on when they can resubmit. I don't have an answer for that. I'll have to check with town council. But consequently, our first actual hearing won't be until 7:15, which is the 154, 156 Northborough Road, and then we'll move on to the Maple Street property. So in the meantime, we are going to review and approve our minutes from our last meeting. And we're waiting for Mike Robbins to show up. He's 15-ish minutes away. So after we approve the meeting minutes, we'll adjourn or recess for a bit and then go back into session and hit the first item on the revised agenda. Okay? All right. Do we have any comments or questions about the minutes from last week or last month?
Nope. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as
See if Dave has any comments.
drafted.
I think I'm fine with them.
You're good?
Yep.
Okay. Paul has made a motion to approve them as drafted. Do I have a second? Second. Debbie seconds. All in favor? Aye. Okay. With that, we will go into recess for about 10-ish minutes and then get kicked off with our next item on the agenda. All right. Thanks. Okay, we're going to get back into session here. We have the full board sitting now, which is great. So we'll go with our 7:15 item, just a few minutes late, 154, 156 Northborough Road. Come on up. Yeah, we'll have Katie read the announcement into the record.
The petitioner is seeking a variance to allow a front yard setback of 15 feet as opposed to the allowed 50 feet from the front property line. Relief is requested under section 174.8.6E3A and 174.8E3B. A variance request was granted in 2018 but has since lapsed.
Okay.
Good evening. My name is Molly Obendorf. I work with Stamps McNary. I am here with the applicant, Joel
Oh,
Aho.
we need a microphone.
Is it okay if I stand?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Is this good? Okay. I'll repeat myself. My name is Molly Obendorf. I work with Stamsky McNary. I am here with the applicant, Joel Aho, and the property is located at 154 to 156 Northborough Road. And a little background about the property: it's just over 4.5 acres. It's within the Industrial Park zoning district. And the proposed work includes the construction of a building, which includes contractor garages. And we have proposed parking located in the back to essentially hide it from Northborough Road. Also, the parking lot is a one-way traffic to help with traffic flow. As was stated, this project was before the board in 2018, just over a year ago, requesting the same front yard setback. Required is 50 feet. We are requesting 15-foot minimum. That's over in this corner here, and it does increase to 26.5 feet over in this corner here. But due to the slender nature of the property, this variance is required to make it a developable lot. This dashed line here is the front yard and rear yard setback, and you can see that limits the space extremely. This is actually an improved plan since the board has seen it last. In addition to the 15-foot yard setback, in 2018 we were also requesting a rear yard setback, which we are no longer requesting. And this plan has also been through Conservation Commission review. We've received an order of conditions. It's also been to the Board of Health. We've received a septic permit for the proposed on-site septic system. And it has been through a rigorous planning board process in order to obtain a low-impact development special permit as well as site plan review. If the board has any questions regarding the project and plan, I will be happy to answer them.
We can go through and ask questions, but again, this is essentially the same thing that we approved last year. Because of the lengthy time that it took, my understanding, the lengthy time it took in planning, as well as some mysterious title issues, it took a little longer than our variance allowed, and they had missed the extension deadline.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. So essentially what happened was that when we started having the title issues, at some point I went to Karina and started checking, okay, when were our dates? And because we got through the ZBA pretty easily last time around, and I didn't realize how much earlier we had gotten the ZBA approval from when we finally got the last permits. And there was I think we got this one in more like the spring and didn't get our final approvals till like fall to late fall. So I didn't do a very good job on like keeping that timeline. So I had missed the extension. So which is why we basically had to come and resubmit as opposed to just doing the extension.
Yep. So, and it looks as if they're looking for less relief than we granted last time. So,
Yeah, do you mind me asking just how it is you don't need the rear setback any longer?
So we were proposing a retaining wall
Right.
back there, which is no longer needed. We've revised the grading to eliminate that need for the retaining wall.
Very good, thank you.
Any other questions? So it seems pretty straightforward that we granted this before they're asking for less. We would be looking to grant it again. Anyone disagree with that theory?
Yeah, as long as nothing is material to change, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone want to make a motion?
Do you want to, do you have to close the public hearing first, or?
Oh, that is, I always forget that part. Do we have a motion to close public hearing?
Clerk duty.
Oh, actually, does anybody want to comment in public hearing? Didn't think so. Okay. Would someone make a motion to close public hearing?
I'll make a motion to close this public hearing.
Second? Seconds. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Now that we've closed that,
I'd like to make a motion to approve the variance requested, the revised variance request that's been presented to us, and allow this to move forward from, I don't know if we want to have a specific, if we want to cite the specific section, but basically to approve the petitioner's motion.
that'll work?
I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor? All right. Very well. You're all
Thank
set.
you.
Thanks,
Thank you very
Bob.
much.
That. And we're back on schedule.
Exactly. Exactly on schedule.
Man, you're good.
All right, so we will move on to the second item on the agenda, which is 8A Maple Street, Unit 1 with Greg and Anthony Bartolini. And Katie, will you read it into the record?
The petitioner is seeking a special permit to allow the conversion of a single-family dwelling to a two-family dwelling. Relief is requested under section 174.9G. A special permit was granted in 2012 for the addition of an accessory apartment to the property.
Okay.
Okay.
Gentlemen?
Hello, I'm Tony Bartolini. This is my brother Gregory Bartolini. We live on 8A Maple Street. And we are requesting a special permit to convert 8A Maple Street into a current single-family residence into a two-family dwelling. In 2012, we met the requirements and received a special permit under 174-8.2B1, which allowed us to construct a single-family house with an accessory apartment. Currently, Gregory lives in Unit 1 and with his wife, and I live in Unit 2 with my family. We would like the board to grant the special permit under 174-8.2B6, which reads as follows. Conversion of a one-family house in existence for 2 years or longer to a two-family dwelling on a lot with a minimum of 15,000 square feet. 174-9G states that the conversion of a one-family house, which has been in existence for 2 years or longer, to a two-family dwelling is allowed by special permit from the Board of Appeals. In reference to this article, we meet all three criteria to receive this permit. The lot is a minimum of 15,000 square feet, which ours is 43,941 square feet. It also states that there shall be no additional apartment on the lot, of which the two-family dwelling is proposed. Number 3 states that not more than the required minimum exterior alterations have been or will be made to the one-family house and to any accessory buildings. And the site plan of the lot and floor plans of the dwelling thereon must be filed with the building inspector prior to the application to the Board of Appeals. In this case, no new construction has been done or will be done on the dwelling for the purposes of this special permit. It will simply be a change on paper from a single family with an accessory apartment to a two-family dwelling. essentially, the reasons why we are seeking this permit is because when we constructed and built the building, we were both single guys, and we, now life has changed, and we just want to, clear up the ownership of the property, where he owns one section, I own the other section. So, thank you for your time and your consideration.
Okay. I'll open it up to public comments, and then we can ask our questions and discuss. You gotta go to the podium and use the microphone. Name and address, please.
Bob Bazakis and my wife Carol, 12 Maple Street. Both Carol and I and the rest of our family had supported the Bartolinis and the construction of the cul-de-sac and their units as it is now, and we support their efforts now to convert it to a two-family, as we have a two-family.
Oh, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming.
Any other comments? Okay. I won't close that just yet in case something comes up after our discussion, through our questions and discussion, but Paul, any questions or comments from your end?
I know we've gone through this a couple of times with some other units that have been, so I know we're somewhat familiar with all this. Question I have though is if it's a two-family, that's still a single ownership though, correct? I mean, you're not creating a condominium situation where one unit is owned by one person and one unit is owned by another person. It's still a single owner, but it's just a multifamily. It's just a two-family situation then.
Well, it gives us the ability, if we decide to switch, so we can have our own ownership of each unit.
But as it would stand, it would still just be one. It would just be one ownership, right?
No, I think what they'd be able to do is make this into what I call a side-by-side duplex. So by making it a legal two-family property, I think.
That would be like the first step, and then.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, they would have to follow the condominium guidelines.
I don't even know why this is a pertinent question. I was just
No,
kind of more
but
curious than
I
anything.
think it's actually a very pertinent question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it'll change, if right now it's a single-family house that has a two-family component, where what you're talking about is quite common, where you would convert that under, I think it's 183 of the Mass General Laws into a condominium, a side-by-side duplex. But so, I think it's right on point,
Okay.
actually.
All right, good.
But our decision isn't doing that.
Correct,
Just-
right. I guess that's more,
We
yeah.
are basically the first step for them to be able
Just
to go
saying,
and
yeah.
do the legal work to,
If they wanted
want
to. Yeah.
Right, so in general, I'm following this. I know we've seen this before with the 2-year stipulation and all that. I understand it's obviously been more than 2 years, so, I mean, I don't have a problem with it as presented to us.
yeah, and it's built already, so.
That's what I'm saying, so I don't have a problem.
It's clearly not more detrimental to the neighborhoods.
I shouldn't say I don't have a problem, I'm in favor, I mean, it's fine with me.
Debbie, how about you?
So, I have a question, actually, along those lines also. We did receive an email that Katie forwarded along from Dennis Costello about the Title V, talking about if there's a change in ownership would require condominium documentation. So is there going to be a change in ownership? I guess it goes along to your question, but I
Yeah,
had this a
so,
little
but I guess
confused
that's not
as to
what's, I guess that's not in front of, I mean, that's not what's,
why. Okay.
Kate, yeah.
So, I looked at 174.82, and I agree with you that you meet the requirements. I looked at 174.9, and actually, what we have in our book is old, so I went online, and it reads, "No special permit shall issue except upon a general finding that the use sought and characteristics shall be in harmony with the intent and purpose of the chapter," which is 40A, Section 9. And also that it's not in conflict with public health or substantially detrimental. So I went back and read through 40A, Section 9, and I just was wondering if you thought about what is the benefit of this? How is this in harmony? Because section 9, it's a strange section, to be honest, but it offers, family use in non-residential areas and all these sorts of other things, cluster development and things like that, which I think is way beyond what we're talking about today. But so I was just interested to know, it says special permits shall be granted only if the special permit granting authority, which is us, determines the proposal's benefit to the town will outweigh any adverse effect for the town or vicinity. And unless I'm reading the wrong part of the the law, which if you could tell me I might be, I'm just wondering, what is the benefit to the town other than yourselves? And I understand it's a, it is a benefit to yourself to have two separate dwellings. So do you find that there's a benefit to the town?
To the town?
That's the way that the regulation reads. I didn't bring my computer, so I jotted it down, so I'm up, if anybody wants to
Yeah.
quickly look that up. But it says, special permit shall be granted only if the permit granting authority determines the proposal benefits to the town outweigh any adverse effect for the town or vicinity. And then goes into other detail about location and the visual aspects and the development.
But I would certainly say it's neutral,
Yeah, I mean, I think
at the very least.
it's,
Looking at it the wrong
it's,
way?
no,
No, I
it's
think
not that
it-
you're
I
looking
love
at the
it.
wrong
It's right
thing.
on.
It's just, the building exists and it's not gonna change from how it's being occupied, used,
Exactly
or
right.
looks today.
Yeah.
So the detriment to the town is zero.
It's a
The
two-family.
two
now.
families are living there. It looks as it is now. It's going to look as it is right after this. It's not going to change. So I think there's zero detriment because it's already.
Is there a benefit,
Pardon?
though? Is there a benefit?
So, I mean, I was trying to think of a benefit too, and the only thing I could think of is if they do split it into
Exactly.
2 condominiums, you now have 2 accessible parcels. And the value of each of those individually will probably be more than the house as it stands now.
And it would provide housing stock for a lower entry point on its own as opposed to a single family.
Yeah.
So if you sold those units separately, each unit, the collective might be worth more, but the individual would, like, let's say it was worth 400,000 as it is now, but maybe it's worth,
250 each.
250 each. And so someone would be able to move into Southborough at a lower price point. So
Actually, that's very interesting. I did a quick look online, and by the way, it is already listed as a duplex on some sites online. I know you guys didn't do that, but if you look at Movado and some other places, it's already listed as a duplex. At a higher price than
Yeah,
250. So you
I was
make-
trying
you
to
make a
do
good
some
point.
simple math.
simple math, yeah,
So you make a good point, though.
yeah. Okay.
That's a great point.
Yeah. Mike, anything for you? Dave?
No, I mean, I can see the requirements that you have in there for the two-family. Essentially, all were met in the prior application for the house with an accessory apartment, so it does seem to be pretty pro forma.
Yeah, and then, the item number 2 in 174-9G of there must be no other apartment upon doing this, the existing accessory apartment will no longer exist as an accessory apartment.
Yeah.
So, okay, we all seem pretty much on board with this. Any other final comments from the gallery before I close public hearing? Okay, motion to close
I'll
public
make a
hearing?
motion to close the public hearing.
Anyone
Second?
second? All in favor of that? All right. I think we're in agreement that this is something that we should be able to move forward with and approve. So if someone would like to make the motion?
I guess I'll make a motion to approve this as requested.
Yeah, so actually, let me step back and just make sure that we clearly identify the findings that we did have. The applicant has shown to us that the lot is greater than 15,000 square feet, that there will be no accessory apartment or apartment in addition to the two-family on the property, and that no exterior alterations will be done. And obviously, the plans for the dwelling are already on file since it's already been built. So, no objection from the neighbors, no objection from anywhere else, and we do feel that there is, you know, if nothing more than neutral benefit and detriment to the town, although we do think it's a positive for a number of reasons, that we should be we have found that and should be moved forward with an approval.
I would add that the abutters all approved this, just not, it wasn't just neutral from
Yeah.
the abutters, it was actually positive. So
That's
we got a few
one of the
letters.
findings.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay,
So,
Got that.
just for the record.
fantastic. Now, how about a motion?
So, once again, I'll make a motion to approve this as requested with the stipulations in place.
Seconded.
There you go.
There it is.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, we're all set.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. So we are now looking at our next meeting, which is August 21st. Everybody's got that down? Everybody's good? Do we have anything? Okay. Yes, we do. So, yeah. Yeah. But, so we definitely have one thing on the agenda, possibly a second. No, they're off for a couple of years. Yeah. My understand, the letter they said is they're gonna take a couple of years to reassess and kind of study the impacts and,
On with the, once they take.
yeah,
Oh,
okay. All right,
So I didn't quite, what's on our agenda for next month?
Let me get that for you.
I don't actually need to know, you said there was one thing, so I don't know if I
because
missed what
Katie
was.
told me there was one thing.
Just one, it'll be.
Yeah, sounds good.
Curo, Southborough, 118 to 120 Turnpike Road. They're looking for a special permit to construct a private parking garage to contain approximately 500 spaces under section 174.5C10.
That
Sounds
will be
interesting. 500 spaces.
Uh-huh.
It's a parking garage.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then we shall see what that looks like. Stay tuned. But, yeah, so that's great, and then we'll see if another one pops up, but that'll be interesting. And with that, I think we should be adjourning.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
You love that motion.
I'm good at it.
All right, Mike seconds. All in favor? Aye. Fantastic, we are done.